I don't like looking at myself.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So today I'm with my buddy Kai.
How's it going, guys?
And we're making a video, the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding. Alright, so today this video is going to be obviously on my channel, and we're going to make a video that's going on his channel about the difference between bulking and cutting. So if you get a chance, it's going to be probably out like a couple days later.
Yeah, I'm going to have it out hopefully sometime on the weekend, so like obviously you guys will see if you follow me on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, so make sure to go give this guy a follow, and we'll have a video out there talking about kind of the difference between bulking and cutting. And it's kind of going to be like today's video maybe, but
can kind of compare and contrast and really show the differences, maybe give some tips for them.
Yeah, so me, it's obviously going to be bulking and this guy's cutting. Alright, so powerlifting and bodybuilding. So we're going to give very, very general definitions. So if I could define powerlifting, it would be progressing on your bench, squat, and deadlift, and getting stronger in those lifts. So a strict powerlifter doesn't care about size, I mean, unless you're trying to like jump weight classes, but doesn't care about putting on like muscle mass. You don't care about how you look. You're literally just trying to get stronger at those main three lifts. And then bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding is more like, obviously, as the name implies, about building your body, so strictly based off of how it looks. And only focusing on the kind of muscle breakdown and regaining that muscle mass and size and everything like that. So just really focusing on looks overall. Yeah,
and now like we're giving these definitions, but many times both of them can go hand in hand. And there's a way of training like one predominantly versus the other. Like if you look at the most competitive powerlifters in the world, they're pretty big, so they've obviously put on some muscle. But we're just talking about the most efficient way. So if you're a powerlifter, that's not the most efficient way to put on muscle. And if you're doing hypertrophy work, that's definitely not the most, efficient way. Or not hypertrophy, but if you're doing strict bodybuilding and isolation, that's not the most efficient way to put on strength on your like lifts or whatever. Now that being said, those definitions, the way me and Kai train, well, Kai right now he's doing show, right? So
yeah, so I'm not quite training, I'm not progressing on my lifts. Yeah. Right now, really just focusing on kind of training like a high volume type work until the show, but not anything too crazy with the intensity, and obviously not progressing.
And it's different when you're cutting down, right? If you're trying to get shredded, like if you're on a lean like cut and you're just trying to get lean, you can definitely still keep a lot of your strength. And him at the start of his cut, he was trying to keep his strength, but like if you're shredding down, right, you're like 3 weeks out, you really don't care too much about how much you can deadlift anymore.
We'll also be talking about that in the cutting and bulking video, so just kind of like how your strength plays into that.
And that's why we decided to make these videos together, because a lot of them a lot of things can apply to different things. So putting on size, bulking, gaining strength, cutting down, bodybuilding, everything kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, all linked together.
Yeah, and so a lot of people, like, they are very different ways of training. Everybody trains differently, but a lot of people like to make powerlifting and bodybuilding completely different, when a lot of times they can be really similar. So for example, me and Kai, I guess you could say bodybuilders like that at heart. We're bodybuilders at heart. Like our main goal is aesthetics, right? That's why we kind of got into the gym. That's why we like love lifting. We like the pump. We like looking like that. But the way we train is essentially we're trying to progress on the three lifts. So bench, squat, and deadlift. Like you go in, especially if you're natural, one of the most important things about gaining muscle is getting stronger. Now that doesn't mean that has to be your main thing, is just strength, but in some sort of way you have to be getting stronger if you're natural and you're trying to build like a really established physique. So what we would do is, I guess you could call it power building. Now some people are against this, but basically you come into the gym and say you're doing like a simple program like 5x5, or for example I'm running David Lade's program right now. My main lift is, for what I'm doing that day, say it's chest day, I'm doing bench press. If it's back day, I'm doing deadlifts, and leg day, I'm doing squats. So for my main lift, I'm trying to do progressive overload, which if you guys don't know what it means, basically progress on the weight, repetitions, or I guess rest time and volume. You're trying to do progressive overload on that lift. And then after you hit, say you had to do a 5x5, after you hit a 5x5 and you progress since last time, you're gonna go and then do accessory movements. So then you're gonna do your bodybuilding where you're resting, I guess, less, like 1 to 2 minutes. With the bench press, you'd be resting more like 3 to 5 minutes. And then you'd go into your accessories hitting, like, say it's chest day, I'd probably do like some incline dumbbell, some shoulder press, some side lateral raises, and I'd be resting more like 1 to 2 minutes. And generally I'd be doing them a bit more hypertrophy style, so I'd be doing like maybe 8 to 12, even 15 reps sometimes, and just trying to focus on the contraction and the pump.
Bodybuilding, a lot of, you'll hear it a lot, like time under tension and like keeping the tension and a lot of that feeling the contraction stuff. So there's a lot of different methods that people will sometimes implicate. So with powerlifting, not that you don't feel it, I'm sure it's like, it'll be quite hard if you're doing
It's not
like
what you're focused on though.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're strictly focused on feeling all the contraction, all your muscles in your chest when you're doing a bench press. Because when you're powerlifting, a lot of the progressions are a result of progressions with your, what's the word?
Central nervous system.
Yeah, pull out some fancy words, like the neurological connections and things like that. Just all your muscles. All your muscles working together in better coordination to more effectively perform that lift or movement. That's where a lot of like the strength can come from. That's also where a lot of your beginner gains come from as well. I mean, obviously you do put on a lot of size as well. Getting a little off topic. Whereas bodybuilding is obviously more, as we were saying, focused on the tension and feeling the contractions. So mainly just on the actual breakdown of the muscle fibers. So hypertrophy type training, for instance, and that is generally reached through high reps, properly feeling the contractions so that the muscle fibers can be broken down and properly rebuilt in order to put on enough mass so that you can, of course, look like a bodybuilder. And a lot of people will work in different things to more effectively, or well, some people claim it's more effective, but a lot of the different things were like drop sets or supersets or things like that. But those are just different methods that some bodybuilders implicate to better get more muscle breakdown and things like that, or shocking your muscles, as I'm sure you'll hear. So doing something your body's not used to in order to have it adapt to that particular new training style or something like that to put on size. Of course, that does also tie in with gaining strength as well, because it can be used for that. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like if you're a power lifter and you're performing the bench press, you don't care about the contraction. You're finding the most efficient way to get the bar from like up here to your chest and back, right? But if you're a bodybuilder, like strictly speaking for bodybuilders, if you're doing a bench press, you would be like time under tension, right? And squeezing, like you're trying to squeeze that muscle and feel it in your chest. Whereas a power lifter, literally you're trying to make it most efficient. Bodybuilding, you're trying to squeeze. So that's why, like, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of it, because sometimes people mix up time under tension with no fucking range of motion at all. But that's why sometimes you'll see more bodybuilders kind of, I guess you could say, semi-half repping it. So not like touching the chest and not coming up all the way. And I can understand for some of the times like that would be beneficial. Like you see Kai Green, one of the biggest bodybuilders, right? He doesn't touch his chest on a bench press because he wants to keep the constant tension. But I feel like a lot of noobs in the gym maybe should just start by doing proper form by touching your chest and coming all the way up.
Squat is the worst for sure. Yeah. With some people, it's just like, again, it does differ with what your lifting style is like. But at the end of the day, if you're doing like a quarter squat and just bouncing there,
it's not constant tension. That's called half repping.
Yeah, there have been exactly. Yeah, don't get those mixed up.
Yeah.
And like there have been time and time again, there have been studies showing that performing full range of motion on almost most of your lifts, like especially things like your compounds, like your squat, but it puts your body under a much greater stress, which does result in much more gains, to put it in a very bro science way, if you want to look at it like that.
But yeah, like there's a lot more research to prove that if you go ass to grass on a squat, you're going to be recruiting much more muscle fibers in your legs and just your whole body in general than if you're going, say, to parallel and not going all the way up. Now, I can see how it'd be different. Like if you're performing a squat strictly as a bodybuilder, maybe you wouldn't come all the way up, or you would want to kind of come up and bounce or whatever. For me, I don't think I'm ever going to do that, because that just doesn't seem safe to me. If I have 4 plates on my back, I want to make sure that I'm taking a proper breath into my belly and I'm going down all the way, and then I'm going to like finish the lift. But like we said before, everybody has their different training styles.
Yeah, but for the most part, like feeling the burn or going for that whole thing will be done, like Travis said, later on throughout the workout. So with like the different isolation exercises, machines obviously are a great one for that. Some people will throw in different things where they'll do like like 21s for instance, they'll do like a half rep here, and then they'll come all the way up to a half rep here, and then they'll do like 7 full reps. Not that it's necessarily proven to be really effective exercise, but it does tie into the whole shocking your muscles, feeling the contraction properly, and things like that.
People just assume that if you're strong, then you should be big, or if you're big, you should be strong. But if you look at someone like Max Tuning, put a picture right here. He's probably, I mean, I'm not going to speak for myself, but I'd say he's definitely smaller than Kai. And this guy can squat 550 pounds, like deadlift 650 pounds. Like we're not even close to those lifts.
Give me a couple years.
Yeah, just a couple years and we'll be there. But this guy's not even close to, or we're not even close to his lifts, and he weighs 160 pounds. Like he's smaller than, I would say, if I'm being generous to myself, I'd say he's smaller than both of us. Probably not. I mean, he's probably a little bit bigger in person, but he's definitely pound for pound one of the strongest guys on YouTube. But he definitely isn't that big. Like his legs, I'll say this, okay, my legs are bigger than his, and he can squat way more than me. And then you'll see someone else who, for example, like some jacked up bodybuilder on a bunch of tren and steroids, that who can bench press maybe 2 plates for like 5 to 10 reps, but his chest is huge. So it doesn't necessarily, like, strength doesn't necessarily mean muscle gain, and
exactly.
being size doesn't necessarily mean strength.
Okay.
So all that said, we talked about a lot of the differences, a lot of the similarities, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of times people going into the gym, they're doing it for themselves, right? Like obviously, like I want to compete when I'm older. He wants to compete. The reason I train is not because I want to be the strongest man in the world or the best bodybuilder in the world. I train because I love it. Like it brings me joy. I want to kind of inspire other people to find the passion that I have for it. But I go into the gym. One of my favorite things is after you can accomplish a lift that you didn't do a week ago or 2 weeks ago with a little bit more weight. It's a really good feeling. But then after finishing that lift, you put your music in, you're fired up, and you go and get a pump. That's also like something I really enjoy. So I love to incorporate both of them. And there's going to be times in my life where probably I'll incorporate one style of training more than the other. But for the average person going into the gym, if you're getting, like, you can go in there and get stronger and you can put on some size. They're not too different. If you're going to be bench pressing and progressing on that, you're probably going to put on some size. If you're just doing bodybuilding, you're definitely going to get stronger. I mean, for example, you, like, when you started training, you did not train for strength at all, and you still progressed in your weight. So now that's also like newbie gains, but I mean.
Yeah, so you'll notice a whole lot of both when you first start. So yeah, when you first start, that's going to be a good, like, give yourself a little bit of time to, progress healthily in both. But and hopefully after some time, you'll kind of find your niche and like figure out, is that the right word?
Yeah. Well, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, you'll find wherever you kind of fit. Where you should find where you fit in and what you like. But it's always good to try both. And just first of all establish a base and just to see which ones you like. Like honestly, if you happen to try out, if you're trying out both and then you think, oh wow, I really like this particular style of training, or like I only care about my weights going up type thing, then you may want to focus more on like a powerlifting type route. Yeah. So just finding where you really want to fit in and what kind of path you want to train like. So yeah guys, that's basically, I know we rambled on for a while. I don't know, I might have cut it down more than I thought, but pretty long talk. Hopefully we're going to be making more videos like this in the future. Hopefully you guys like this style of video. It's kind of nice to kind of have another guy there to kind of bounce ideas off each other. We both like fitness, we love fitness. We both kind of starting our own YouTube channels and stuff. So probably going to be doing something similar like this in the future. Like I said before, making a video on his channel probably out by the weekend, talking about kind of the difference between cutting and bulking, and we'll probably tie in a little bit of that to do with what we were talking about today. So if you kind of want to see, I guess, like a part 2 of what we had today, go check out his channel, it's in the description. And hopefully that summed it up, the difference between powerlifting and bodybuilding, kind of how we train and how they go together. But anyway guys, if you enjoyed watching the video, stay tuned for more content, subscribe if you guys want. Definitely gonna have some more videos out this week, video out on his channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.